Court is in session in clause number 327056, case the style of state of Texas versus Latz and Goss. We have Mr. Goss appearing via Zoom. Mr. Goss, is your full name Latz and Goss?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Goss, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Goss, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Goss, you may put your hand down. And this is cause number 327056. Mr. Goss, you are represented by your attorney, Mr. Giles Cole. Mr. Cole, do you waive a record in Mr. Goss' case?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Goss, I have before me a document that is titled Information, and in this information alleges that on or about June 13 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest detention. Mr. Goss, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Goss, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you, and are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Goss, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials LG on a line that is next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Goss, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next page of the same document, Mr. Goss, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Goss, is that your signature?
Sir, I can't hear you.
Is that door open or closed? Okay, Mr. Goss, there's a signature on the third page of the same document above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Goss, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, Mr. Goss, there are two boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Goss, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Goss, before you signed and initialed those documents, did your attorney go over those documents?
Sir.
Before you signed and initialed those documents, all of these documents that I just mentioned to you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
No
Any
objection.
objection? No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Goss, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Goss, your attorney, Mr. Cole, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Cole, you've advised and counseled Mr. Goss. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Goss, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
30 days.
Mr. Goss, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. Mr. Goss, the court cost in this case is $387. Will you be able to pay the $387?
No, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Goss, I have before me a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. And on this document, Mr. Goss, now, Mr. Goss, let me ask you, I need to ask you a few questions. Do you have any monthly income or assets?
No, sir.
And do you have any expenses?
No, sir.
And are you collecting any type of governmental benefit?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Goss, based on your statements, the court is going to find that you're indigent. And based on that finding, the court costs in this case will be waived. That simply means you would not have to pay it because the court is finding that you're indigent, and that's pursuant to, the waiver is pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Goss, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Goss, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state, Mr. Goss. This will conclude your case. You can follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day.
You too.